Hey folks, it is Friday, July 24th, and it is absolutely splitting rocks here where I am in my part of the world. Well, the wife and kids are gone away for the weekend to visit her mom, so I figured I'd take the opportunity to go watch the Odyssey since I knew they wouldn't want to go. So I just got back, and here's my full review. Well, I guess first things first, let's get all the woke stuff out of the way. If all the woke versus anti-woke stuff really bothers you and keeps you awake at night, yeah, you probably shouldn't go watch the Odyssey. There's the main person that's been getting the most heat is Ellen Page, who plays the role of some Greek gladiator warrior, and all the MAGA crowd are losing their minds about that. Oh, this woman shouldn't be playing a Greek warrior, blah blah blah. Okay, if that's what you think, sure. Now, full disclosure, do I think Ellen Page is a man? Fuck no. Do I think she's mentally ill? Of course she is. Does that mean that she shouldn't be able to get a job in Hollywood, her chosen profession? No. I mean, she was cast in it, so can't blame her for that. Blame Christopher Nolan or whoever cast her. Same thing with the actress who was cast in Helen of Troy. People say, well, Helen of Troy wasn't black, and this is not, people say, well, this is not historically accurate. I get the feeling that a lot of people believe that the story of the Trojan horse is actually real, and they believe that people like Achilles existed. And just so everybody's clear, no, it's all fiction, written by a guy named Homer about 3,000 years ago or whatever it was, and it has nothing to do with anything. It's just a story of fiction. So if you have a problem with Ellen Page playing a gladiator or this other actress playing Helen of Troy, I don't know what to tell you. Like, don't go watch the movie. But what do you think Charlton Heston looked like? What do you think Moses looked like Charlton Heston? Or Braveheart, William Wallace looked like Mel Gibson? No, it's theater. So I go back to, if in theater you're given a certain amount of artistic license, and that's the way theater's always been. All the actors back in the Greek times were men. All the actors back in Shakespeare's times were men, even the female parts. So if you go to a play, it could be black people performing the role, white people, like, that's what theater is. It's kind of blind casting in that respect. So I don't have a problem with them being cast in the movie, because again, it's a work of fiction. If it was a biopic based on a real historical figure, let's say Napoleon, well, yeah, you're probably not going to want Chris Rock to play Napoleon, because it just wouldn't work. In the same way you wouldn't want Matt Damon playing Nelson Mandela. It just wouldn't work, because these are historical figures that we know a lot about. But I think with the Odyssey, given that it's a work of fiction, you're given certain artistic license. So I don't have a problem with Helen of Troy being a black woman, and for all we know, maybe that's what made her so beautiful in the Greek world, was the fact that she was black. Has anybody ever thought of that? Like, maybe because I have no doubt that there were black people in the Greek world. Like, it's close enough to Africa, and they traded and did all that stuff. So yeah, I have no doubt that you'd probably be able to find a black person in the Greek world. So maybe the face that launched 1,000 ships, maybe that's because she was black. Anybody ever think of that? Anyway, you know, you could pick holes in the movie. Like, for example, Matt Damon. What do you think? What do you think? Matt Damon looks Greek? If you believe that Matt Damon looked Greek, you've never been to Greece. That's about all I can tell you. Greek people are much darker. They're much hairier. They usually have curly hair. I could go on. Big noses. I've been to Greece 4 times, from south to north, and everywhere in between, the islands, you name it. No, Matt Damon does not look overly Greek to me, but nobody complains about that. So, and like I said, that's what Hollywood is, and that's what theater is. It's playing other characters. So, with respect to Ellen Page and the other actress, whatever her name was, I didn't necessarily have a problem with it, because I guess first things first, what you'll notice when you do go and see the movie, they're not really in it. I mean, if Ellen Page is in the Odyssey more than 3 or 4 minutes, that's all she's in it for. She maybe has 2 paragraphs of dialogue, and that's it. And same with the Helena Troy character. If she's got 2 paragraphs of dialogue, that's it. She's in the movie 5 minutes tops, if that. So these are very, very minor characters in the movie, and I'm actually surprised that they've received so much attention for the movie, because frankly their parts are kind of bit parts, and there's a lot more meatier roles in the movie than those 2 characters. So the movie itself, was it good? Yes. Was it great? No, not really. But was it, if you're gonna watch it, should you see it in the movie theater? Absolutely. So I think Chris Nolan, he's proven in his career, you know, if you're going to create an epic, this big budget, big screen, big everything movie, Chris Nolan's your guy to do that, because he seems to have the gift for it. So from that perspective, am I glad I saw it in the movie theater? I guess so. But will I ever watch it again? Probably not. It's kind of like Avatar. Remember when Avatar came out? I remember watching Avatar in the movie theater, and I forgot completely about it about 10 minutes after I left the theater, and I've never thought about it again, and I've never seen it again, obviously. So it's one of those things that, you know, if you're going to watch it, watching it in the theater is the way to go. But when I read the reviews about it, everybody's talking about, oh, this is cinematic greatness, and it's one of the greatest movies ever made, and blah, blah, blah. I didn't get that out of it. And maybe that's just because of the story. Like, I've seen so many movies and shows and whatnot, and takes and plays and you name it, about the Odyssey, that it's kind of old and tired. So you know, there was that. Now, like I said, if you're gonna watch it, you got to do it on the big screen, because I can see where watching on the small screen you wouldn't get that sort of feeling that you are when you're strapped in your chair and, you know, watching it with you know, the movie theater screen size and the sound. So now, was I happy I paid $30 for it? Hell no. Maybe I'm just getting old, but I seem to remember when movies cost $5 when I was a kid, and now they're up to 30. So was it worth the $30? I don't know. I mean, it killed 3 hours, but was it as epic and wonderful and you know, oh yeah, put it right up there with Casablanca, you know. No, I wouldn't put it up there with Casablanca and Godfather just yet. The good. So, well, we talked about, we'll get back to the woke stuff, but we talked about the woke stuff already. Here's the one thing that I don't understand about the woke stuff. They keep talking about the trans person and the black woman, but nobody really talks about all the Asian gladiators in the movie. I counted at least 2. And I think in ancient Greece, you were much more likely to see somebody who thought they were a woman being a man, or a black woman, than you would be that you'd see an Asian person in ancient Greece. That's just me. But nobody talks about that. Again, not a problem. They did their role in the movie and all was good. What did I like about the movie? Well, for starters, it's got that epic feel that I mentioned when you're watching on the big screen. And one thing I will say, I'll give credit to whoever did the sound on the movie. The sound in the movie was amazing. Like, if it doesn't win Best Sound Oscar, then that person got robbed, because the sound was really well done. That's the one thing that jumped out at me more than anything. The other great thing about the movie was the editing. And you can tell when a movie has been edited well when you don't realize that the movie is happening, you know? Like, it was a 3-hour movie, very long movie, but it didn't feel like it was 3 hours, because there was always something happening, and it was just put together through editing really well. So I thought that was superb, was the editing aspect. Like, 3 hours flew by, and maybe that's the story too. For those who are trying to figure out, like, basically this is the story of Odysseus trying to get home after the fall of Troy. And basically what it reminded me of is, it was kind of like a video game where you have all these quests. So, you know, they go to one place and they've got to defeat the Cyclops, and then they fight these other people. It's like, as soon as they get through one barrier, they find something else that's trying to kill them. So the 3 hours went by really quickly. It kind of reminded me of, they used to have these books back when I was a kid called Choose Your Own Adventure, where you're reading it through and then you get to the end of the chapter and then you got to pick what you want to do next and then turn to that page. So what I loved about those books as a kid was there was always action happening. There was always something to do, because you were literally choosing your own adventure. So it kind of had that feel for me, that, you know, it didn't feel like 3 hours. So I think that that's the sign of a well-edited movie. And I compare it to other Nolan movies I've seen. One that comes to mind is Dunkirk. I don't know if you guys remember Dunkirk, but holy shit. After about 40 minutes, I was like, fuck, when are these cowardly Brits gonna retreat? I couldn't wait for them to go, because it just seemed like it went on forever. But in this movie, there was no dead air. There was no unnecessary footage. You know, it just goes from one to the other. So I really enjoyed that about it. Sound and editing, and of course the cinematography was, well, it's Greece, you know, it was filmed in Greece. So if you've ever been to Greece, you know that there's some pretty cool scenery there. So Nolan had a good backdrop, so there wasn't any need for a lot of special effects or anything like that. I thought that the special effects that were in the movie were really, like the Cyclops and stuff, really well done. But for the most part, it seems like he just used what was in front of them, which was the landscape. In terms of the actors, you know, they all did well enough. Like I said, I wouldn't say that I didn't see anything that was an Oscar-worthy performance or anything like that. But, you know, they all did their role. You know, Matt Damon's the main character. He does fine as Odysseus, you know. The other actors in it, they were all good enough. Like I said, is this a movie that is going to get a lot of Oscar buzz? Yeah, probably. But I don't know, just for me, it seemed like the type of movie that you've seen it once and that'll probably be it for me. You know, when I think about some of my all-time favorite movies that I've seen multiple times and I could always watch and never get bored, stuff like, you know, Star Wars, the original, Goodfellas, Braveheart, Shawshank Redemption. Like, these are movies that you watch because they're either so well written, like something like Shawshank Redemption or Goodfellas. The acting in it and the writing in it is so good that it draws you into the story. I didn't get that from this. The spectacle of the Odyssey is the spectacle itself. It's a big budget movie with lots of cool fighting and things like that. It seems to have that going for it. But like I said, similar to Avatar, you've seen it once and you've seen it for the rest of your life, right? It's kind of like you go to the circus to see the elephant, and once you see it, it's kind of like, well, okay, saw it, now what do I do? So that was kind of my take on the movie itself. I thought it was good, but not great. But it's not that it wasn't great because of all of the anti-woke stuff that you hear about it. And, you know, hey, like I said, I'm right there too. Some of the stuff I think is the wokery and DEI is all a bunch of nonsense. So I'm on that team, but even I could still enjoy it for what it was, which was cinema, you know, and fiction. So will I watch it again? No, but was it worth the 3 hours of my life to go see it on the big screen? Well, I can say I've seen it now. But beyond that, not too much. And that's pretty big for me because this is the first time I've gone to a movie theater in 10 years. So I'm not a movie guy. I gave up on Hollywood years ago, like probably 15, 20 years ago. So I don't watch a lot of movies, but this one, from all the buzz that it was generating, they were kind of saying, you know, this is the big epic we've all been waiting for. If that's the case, then Hollywood's got some problems on its hands because it was good. It was a good movie, but I didn't find it great. I enjoyed it, but in hindsight, I could have just as easily not enjoyed it. You know what I mean? So you take the good and the bad from it. I think it's another Christopher Nolan movie, and if you're into his type of stuff, you should go see it. But like I said, if the whole accuracy of it, or your perceived accuracy of some of the character choices, is a thing that's going to bother you, don't go see it. And if you're not into the big spectacle movie and seeing it on a big screen for the sake of seeing it in a big screen, then you probably don't want to see it either. But overall, am I glad that I saw it? I guess so. It was okay. You know, it was a good movie, but not great. Would be my totally honest review. don't know what else to say about it beyond that. Reminder that this Sunday, July 26th at 2 p.m. Eastern, we've got our open mic. So please check out the open mic. It's free for anyone to join. We open the floor up and we choose topics to talk about on the fly, whether it be geopolitics or whatever. So like I said, check out the channel, hit like, share, and subscribe. Let me know what you thought of the Odyssey down below. And this Sunday, July 26th, 2 p.m. is our next open mic. Hope to see you there. Everyone's welcome. And I guess I'll figure out what to do for the rest of the day. Hope you guys are enjoying life. I'm going to get inside for a melt and have a great, wonderful weekend, everyone. Cheers.